Hello there, everybody. I'm Mr. Game and Pie, and welcome back to Let's Play Plants vs. Zombies. Today, I'm alone. All alone in this world. Nobody to help me. But yeah, no, Zach had to leave, and none of my friends are here, so it's just gonna be me for an episode. This is it, guys. This is how it ends. It's just me playing Plants vs. Zombies on the rooftop levels. What am I supposed to do here, man? What the hamster am I supposed to do here? I don't know. Corn. Gotta make the corny jokes. Yeah. Anyway, I have coffee beans because today we're gonna have to deal with the ladder zombies. And the ladder zombies are pretty solidly countered by the magnetrooms. You do that pretty well. Because they got them magnetic powers. And I'm also glad that Crazy Dave gave me the kernel pulse. That's appreciated. Good job, Dave. Dev. Derv. Darv. Darwin. Delineate. That's not a word. Anyway, so speaking of words that don't exist, how about I tell you people the story of my word? So basically, ever since I was super young, I've always had a word. You know, like, it's something that I say, like, what? The hamster is my word, currently, in general. But I've had a lot of them over time. So, like, whenever I was really young, like, I think the first word was, like, heap. I'd say, heap, 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 you know, just silly. Being silly like that. And it was a good time, but then it moved on to other things. Like, for a while it was oi. And that was a good time. And then there was inflatable flamingo. And that was a good time. And keep in mind, like, all these words, they happen within, like, the span of a year. But then something happened. Something happened, and instead of constantly switching from one word to another, I actually stayed with a single word for a long time, for several years. That word was gravy. Yep, from, like, I don't know, maybe 2001 to, I'm gonna say somewhere around 2007, 2008, my word was gravy. And nobody can take that away from me. Gravy all the time, all the place. I don't even like gravy. It's not something that I even enjoy. It's just, it was a word. It was my word that I said. And thus, that is what occurred with my word. But yeah, so somewhere around the time of 2007, 2008, I started adding more words to my repertoire. Because, I mean, it wasn't always just one word that I had. There have been many occasions where I've had, actually, multiple words at the same time. And the first of these words that were added was hubbleha. And, you know, hubbleha, it's very silly, very chaotic and bizarre, and it really worked as my word, I felt. And so, you know, for a while, I was just going, hubbleha, what? You know, hey, you know what the answer is? Hubbleha. And stuff like that. But then, there was another word that came in, and that word was pie. And you see, this is around the time that I actually created my YouTube channel. And going into the reason why I'm called Mr. Game & Pie, I guess, is this is also around the same time that Smash Brothers came out. Now, ever since Smash Brothers Melee, my main character has always been Mr. Game & Watch. And whenever I created my YouTube account, it wasn't originally to create videos. It was actually originally designed to get people's friend codes from other people on the internet. Because, you know, that was a thing that Nintendo did. They had friend codes that you had to get from people. And so, yeah, that was the original intent of my YouTube channel, and thus, the most logical YouTube name for me to have was something related to Mr. Game & Watch. And because one of my words was pie at the time, the most logical name overall was Mr. Game & Pie. And thus, the name Mr. Game & Pie was born, and I'm setting out so many kernel pults. Does anybody care that I'm setting out this many kernel pults? No, I gotta continue explaining my words. Alright, but no, you see. So yeah, at that point, my word was pie and hubbleha. And then, you know, another word came in. It was blargledash. It was a word for a while. Nobody really cared about blargledash at all. I don't even care about blargledash that much, to be honest. It's probably one of my most forgettable words ever. You know, like, on the list of top 10 Mr. Game & Pie words, blargledash is at the very bottom. It doesn't even make the list, even though there's not even 10 words, I don't think. But yeah, so, you know, so yeah, I had pie for a while, but then then it happened. You know, it was around, let's see here, at that point, it was not, I was getting to sort of the end of my words at that point, and I started saying hamsters, because I had hamsters. I like hamsters. Hamsters are cool. Who doesn't like hamsters? Hamsters are awesome. And, yeah, so, but the thing is that, you know, previously, around that time, I was in a private school. I was in private school for most of my life, actually. And, my friend, and by friend, I do mean singular friend. I only had, like, one friend back then, other than Jordan, who's 2 years younger than me, so I didn't actually get to hang out with him that much. But yeah, my friend, he did not like animals in general, and particularly he didn't like hamsters. So, you know, throughout the years, he was always very supportive of me using my word. He wouldn't really join in on me exactly, but he'd always, like, enjoy it, in a sense. But whenever I started saying hamsters, oh man, now that crossed the line. He did not like me saying hamsters. He was very much against that. And so hamsters had to be a little bit subdued. It was like, it was sort of my word, but it was also kind of not my word, because it annoyed the only guy that tolerated me. But then I left that school. Man, am I glad that I left that school for a variety of reasons. But one of them is being that I was finally able to utilize hamsters as my word. The thing is that the next year is that I was homeschooled, and so I was pretty much alone all the time. All day, every day. Thomas is solo. Thomas was alone, that's a game. And that was my life. And so I was saying hamsters, but at what cost? At what cost was I saying hamsters? What price did I have to pay for such a privilege? Which honestly isn't really that privileged, you know. If you're not allowed to say hamsters, that's kind of a weird thing. Don't know what's up with your life. But that's what was up with my life. And so, yeah, that wasn't a whole lot of fun. But then I was only homeschooled for 1 year. That was only 1 year that happened. You know, for several other years, however, you know, for every year afterwards, I was able to go to a public school for some time. And at that point, I began to utilize hamsters once again in public this time. And people appreciated it. You know, like back in the private school, nobody really liked my word. Like, there were brief moments in period of time where people enjoyed me using my word, but it was not usually a thing that was appreciated. But then, I go to this public school, and it's like, all of a sudden, everybody likes Mr. Game Pie saying hamsters. That's a cool thing. Like, you know, it's just, everybody likes it for some reason there. And so, I kept saying hamsters, and everybody kept liking it. And all of a sudden, this thing that, like, nobody had liked previously, everybody liked all of a sudden. In fact, I think that was my general experience with public school as a whole, where things that I did in private school that nobody liked or were annoyed by, all of a sudden, public school, everybody likes me. Everybody likes who I am. Everybody likes who I, you know, what I do. It's just, it was a very bizarre situation, because all throughout my life, you know, my dad was like, oh man, Thomas, you don't want to go to public school. Public school, everybody's a jerk and nobody likes you. And I'm pretty sure that was his experience with public school, but that was not my experience. My experience was that people in public school were actually significantly more tolerating than people in private school. You know, like, there were people who actually had my interests in public school. In private school, there was like 2 people. 2 people in my class that liked the thing that I did, and only one that I could legitimately tolerate. Actually, no, there were probably like more like 3 or 4, but the point is that only one of them liked me. And, you know, I think that that's mostly just because in a private school, there's fewer people. You know, there's not a whole lot of people to talk to. You got very small classes, you got a very small group of people to work with, and so because of that, there's going to be fewer people to actually talk to and hang out with, and that was sad. There's also the fact that, you know, in a public school, people could come from anywhere. They could come from, like, across the state if they could make it to the place. And they did. Not actually from across the state, because this is Texas. Going across the state in Texas, no matter which direction you go, is a bad idea. You're never going to make it. But still, I mean, there were people that lived really far away, is the point here. And so being able to actually hang out with somebody after school or something, that was like, that'd require a miracle, man. So yeah, we're on the final wave now. I guess I could continue talking about school or something. I don't know. My experience with... Oh yeah, I guess technically speaking, Bungie zombies will appear even if they are not on the screen, because Bungie zombies can always jump down and set zombies down in the middle of your rows. They can always do that. And I'm gonna need to set down a pod over here. This. Probably going to need to set this down. And doom! And then you can see the crater on the rooftop. That's good. Alright, so we'll probably do... Yeah, we'll probably do one more level before calling it quits here. I'm gonna need the magnet room again, I think. I don't even have something good there. That is disconcerting. Alright. Let's see here. Coffee bean. Magnet shroom. Okay, I need something that's really good here. I'm probably gonna take in these and these. Alright, let's see what I can do with this. But yeah, so I mean, public school worked out way better than me in private school. You know, back in, for a while, back in kindergarten to 3rd grade, I was actually friends with more girls than I was with guys. That was kind of an interesting thing in my life. Is that, you know, all the guys, you know, whenever you're young, there's always sort of a big gender split for some reason, it feels like. Where, you know, all the guys hang out together and all the girls hang out together. Well, my life was very not accurate in that respect because... You know, I mostly hung out with the girls because, like, most of the guys, they were really rude to me for some reason. Like, just incredibly rude all the time. And it was not something that I wanted to put up with whatsoever. The girls, they were nice to me. It's like, that's it. It's just, the girls were nice to me, and I was nice to the girls. And it's like, it was a cool time. But then I moved schools from 3rd grade to 4th grade. I actually changed which school I was going to. Still a private school, but, you know, different one. And the thing is that, you know, there's always going to be a little bit of a natural separation between guys and girls for some reason. But in the new school, it was, like, explicitly enforced. Like, you know, you can't... at lunchtime, I remember you wouldn't be allowed to sit next to a girl if you were a guy, or sit next to a guy if you were a girl. It just, they wouldn't allow it. And I remember at one point there was like this school dance, and there was a rule that you couldn't dance, because that was wrong for some reason. But yeah, really, like, and it was just, like, really bizarre in that manner, because... You know, in the previous school, there was nothing against guys and girls hanging out with each other. It was, if anything, it was somewhat encouraged, you know? It was good. It was a good time. But no, in that next school, it was, both by the people in charge and by, you know, just the classes in general, the people that were there, they did not like that. And that really messed me up, I'd say. It was not a fun time. It was very annoying. There were a lot of people that I wanted to be friends with that, you know, nope, they're a girl. You're not allowed to be friends with them. That's not right. No. No, that's dumb. Don't ever let somebody do that to you, people. That is a terrible mindset. Get rid of it. Annihilate it. Eradicate it from the fabric of reality. That would be appreciated. Thank you. Thank you very much. And, yeah, you know, it wouldn't be until I got to, once again, public school that I was able to really be friends with girls again. Because, once again, there wasn't any teachers or anything. The establishment wasn't against guys and girls being friends. And it was a good time after that. Because, you know, a lot of great friends that I had in high school were girls. And they're great, you know, basically, what I'm trying to get across here is that don't let people do that to you. You know, if you think that a girl is cool, hang out with her. You can be friends with her. If you think a guy is cool and you're a girl, you can be friends with him. It's cool. Don't let society be a jerk to you like that. Because there was a period of time in my life where society was a jerk like that to me. And it wasn't good for anyone. It wasn't good for anyone involved. Because I remember there was one girl where it's like, you know, Thomas, you're a really cool guy, but I can't like be friends with you because, you know, all the other girls would be weirded out by that. I think that there's also sort of a romance angle to it, where it's like, you know, oh no, if you're friends with that guy, you're totally in love with each other for some reason, even though that might not be remotely accurate at all. And you know, this happened a little bit whenever I was really young and I had a lot of girlfriends, that is, friends that were girls, where, you know, there would be moments where it's like, oh man, Thomas, he really likes that girl. And then, you know, I would talk to her and be like, you know, I really don't like you in that way. That's not how I feel. And then she'd be like, yeah, no, I really don't like you that way either. And we would come to an understanding. And it's like, no, that's not what our relationship is. We're friends. That's what we are. And, you know, if other people just couldn't wrap their heads around that, that was their problem. That wasn't our problem, because we knew what we were. And it was good. And it's just, for some reason, society is doing this whole thing where it's separating people because of gender, and it's really terrible. It is counterproductive in many respects. Even past the ones that I've been talking about here. I mean, I don't know how I got from Plants vs. Zombies to talk about gender roles. Not even gender roles, more like gender segregation, kind of? That's not quite the right way to put it. It's something. It's something, alright. And whatever it is, it's not cool. But yeah, that was something that happened in my life. And now we need a magnet shroom. Or not. Or the catapults took him out. Okay. Probably just gonna start setting up magnet shrooms anyway, because, you know, that's a good use of time. But yeah, just look at this. This is how powerful these cabbage pults are, because, you know, the, like, 4 rows of kernel pults were not able to do what 2 rows of melon pults are capable of doing. And do note that, you know, the effects of a kernel pult, like, they stack, like, exponentially on each other, because the more kernel pults that you have, the more likely it is that butter will fling out. And thus, the more effective they become. But it's just like, you know, no, two rows of the watermelons, no, it's good, you're done. It's awesome. Now we're putting down a 3rd row just because you can't have enough watermelon. 3 rows of watermelons is gonna just annihilate this level, especially once I get the magnet shrooms out there. At that point, it's just nothing to survive. You think you're gonna survive? No, I'm afraid that you have been deceived, my friend, because you are not going to survive. You are going to be eradicated from the face of reality. That is exactly what is going to happen. I'm glad that we've come to this understanding. Have another melon pulp for your troubles. But yeah, just look at this. Actually, that football zombie, he might actually make it somewhere. He might make it somewhere. Let's make it say he doesn't. Oh wait, no. He's already lost his thing. Okay. Okay. Well, that's not good. Better set down a melon pulp to replace that one. Go ahead and set down a pot for whenever I got the 300 sun for that. 3 magnet shrooms should probably be good for a while. I can save up for the next... Oh wait, double sunflower. I'll do that. But yeah, I can save up for the next one. I'm really glad that I've actually gotten out this setup really well, because it can often be hard to get out the melon pults without like two early level TSPPs. Because, you know, even whenever I was doing this, I had to use the jalapeno at one point, because I wasn't going to be able to get out the last of the melon bolts fast enough to kill that one guy early on. So yeah, to get out melon bolts, you either need a weaker plant to sort of stall out for you for a while before you can build the sun, or you're going to need 2 TSPPs. In this case, I used Potato Mine and the jalapeno. But any 2 TSPPs are probably going to work out pretty well. Personally, Potato Mine and the Squash is my preference because both of them cost very little amounts of sun to use. But just about anything will work, quite frankly. I didn't actually meant to plant that pot all the way out there. I'm going to start using the starfruit now, I think. Also, I'm pretty sure that from this point onward, there are no more miner zombies. Don't have to worry about those guys anymore. Not an issue. Yeah, once I set out these starfruit, things are gonna get crazy. Except not really, because honestly, the melon pults are gonna do more than the starfruit ever will. It's just at this point, you may as well have the starfruit. They do good stuff. Oh, hey, look, there's zombies. There are zombies right there. Zombies on my pots. Got the 300 sun. Set this down. Good times. Oh, and that's the end of the level. Okay. Well, with that said, I'm Mr. Game Pie, and I've just been rambling on about my school life, I guess. In case anybody wanted to hear about that. And next time, we're going to have a special conveyor belt level. See you then!